Hello, me lovelies. Just give me a minute or so because my arm is kicking off something horrific and I don't want to be sitting here scratching all the time. So just give us a second when I get the cream. Oh. There we go, that's done. Now my arm's itching like that. I want to claw it off me when it goes like that. And it got particularly bad. People who don't know there's something wrong with me. I keep on forgetting the name if I've been told what it is. But it's something to do with the nerve in your neck. It's not painful, but you come out in blotches. It's not sciatica, by the way, before anyone says that, because it's not painful. You come out in little, they look like, it's embarrassing because they look like needle pricks. And you think, do people think I'm freaking shooting up? Because they're all over me lower arm, these like little pricks, and it itches like hell. And I mean itches, and it goes all tingly and itching, and you just want to scratch your skin off. And that's another thing that bleeding drug users, when you're on some drugs you do, don't you? You can't stop scratching your arms. And it's like, oh God, people think I'm really addicted to something. Not nice. Not nice. Yeah, I went out the day with short sleeves on, and I kept on thinking, Christ, people must think they're needle marks all the way up my arm. But nothing will get rid of them. Anyway, say hello to people in the chat. Hello. Let's go back. Missy Moon, I haven't seen you for a while. Missy Moon, Jalise, Cindy, Kelsey, Jockany Sparrow, Pop Belisa. So, oh, didn't you used to pay me visits ages ago? Pop Belisa. So, I'm sure you did. See, another old time that's come back. Are you Lucius? Are you Victoria, lady? No, it's not a heat rash. It's been going on since I'd say February. I know the name of it, but I can never remember it. It's something to do with the nerve in your neck, and it just sends these tingling sensations down. Not your neck, between your shoulder blades, sorry, and it sends these tingling sensations, and it itches, and you want to go, ee. And it's not actually a rash. I know what you mean by heat rash, but no, the way heat rash has those little bumps, red bumps. These aren't bumps. You imagine a needle prick. They look like needle pricks all over your arm. It's embarrassing. It's really, really embarrassing. I don't know. It could come in handy. If I'm ever out and get any trouble, I'll just hold my arm up and say, "Don't mess with me. I'm a gangster. I'm hard. I am. Look at me. I'm on it. I'm on the gear. Don't mess with me." That's what could come in handy. What com.post? No, I had to pop at you, Julie's, and who was it? Mozo told me, he said, actually, to remove this person from his platform. What was that? Let's see. I'll see what the I can't remember saying .com. Let's see. No, that was about Shadow Boxer. That was about the lolcow. Lolcow was about him. No, I had to pop at you and Jalise and others, which I will do because I'm sorry. If you go and actually read what UK done is what all the absolutely disgusting bigoted statements are being made on that post he put up, and he's hearting them and loving them. I'm sorry, Cindy. I'm sorry. You hang out with people like them and you tolerate them. Guess what? You were in the same class as them. That's what I say. And it's not good enough to turn around and say, oh, I ignore it. It's easy for you to ignore it. You're not the one that's getting the hate. And at my age, I came on YouTube to try and challenge and educate people about being intersex. That was the original idea, right? And the hate that came at me. So I'm not going to hold back and say, oh, no, because I like Cindy, which I do like you, Cindy. I like you and I like him. No, it's not good enough, Cindy. You're not in control of other people's channels. You support someone that's coming out with vile hate. You can't then cover that up. I'm sorry and say, well, we can, but we'll be friendly with them. I saw you before laughing with them. That's up to you. But I don't feel comfortable coming on your channel. And that's what I was saying. I don't feel one bit comfortable because you expect me to go into an environment where I know someone who hates on people because they were born intersex is there. And I don't want to be around people like that. I'd do it to anyone. I mean, I like you, but I just wouldn't go on your channel anymore because I saw you before laughing and lol. You do have control over people. What you turn around like I do, you get them off your channel if they're coming out with hate. You say, I'm not tolerating this because this is a world where people are accepted and loved for who they are, not condemned because the way they were born. No, Julie, Cindy is of another view, but you'll have to. What hate have you had, Cindy? I mean that seriously. What hate have you had? He has said things in your chat. He has. That's why I first became aware of him because I've never spoken to him, and he said something vulgar in your chat against me. So I'm just interested in what hate you had thrown at you because it's easy to use the word hate. Do you go out the door and because of who you are, the way you were born, you get hated on? Do you have to look around thinking, am I going to be safe here? And wonder if you're going into an area where you could be killed because of who you are, the way you're born? No, I wouldn't accept an apology from Jockney. That's it. As I say, if I didn't like you, Cindy, and this it, I'd block you straight away. I'd just say, I'm going to block you, but I do like you. It's just, I think the best way forward is I'm not going to go on that channel anymore because I really don't like it. I feel safe there. And that's not against, well, actually, it's against you. I'm trying to make it nice here, but I'm not. It's a, what have you been called? Have you been called because you're women? Have you been called, I'm guessing, I don't know, I'm making a guess here. Have you been called because you're white? Have you been called because you've got a hump on your back? You've got to be specific that you're being called because something unique, or you belong to a category that is prone to getting hated on. That's what hate speech covers, when someone has an aspect. Yeah, Julie, as well, I get people like me get that all the time. Yeah, but fast, nasty file names, unless it's specific to something about you that makes you a part of, let's say, not restricted, minority, let's put it that way. I mean, intersex, that's a minority. That's a real minority. But loose women, isn't it? Yeah, look, Julie, is not being funny. when you don't understand the meaning of the term hate speech, you can call any woman a cow, a WHORE or whatever. Any woman can get that, no matter what race she is, no matter of where she comes from, she'll get that. What you're talking about specific targeted hate is if someone's Jewish, and they're being called for being Jewish, if someone's Christian and they're being called for being Christian, if someone is black and they're being called for black, if someone's intersex and they're being called for being intersex, if they're gay and they're being called for being gay. It's targeted. In other words, you're getting hate for who you are. But calling someone a WHORE or a biatch or all that, it's generic. Anyone can get that, no matter what stratification you're on. But we'll stop going on about it and just, I say, you're welcome here. You're welcome here. But I just don't feel, I say, comfortable. I'm sorry, Cindy. That's the way it is. I mean, I'm too old in the tooth to fudge around it. I mean, look, PP, the fake PP had to go. I'd said something right, which I took umbrage to. But he didn't, it wasn't, it was just like, but I understood it was just a sort of like how can I put it? It was an funny remark back at me because I said, oh, can I block him, please? Can I block him? And he didn't think it through. You can tell when someone's targeting you, when someone sets something off and they haven't thought it through. There's a difference. But UK Don is targeting. In other words, he's a biggest, and that's the difference between it. I've had people call him all sorts, but it's you can tell the difference between someone that's just annoyed and saying, or someone that's saying it as a joke and just not realise that it could be very insulting what they're saying, if you know what I mean. I'm level-headed about this. I don't say everything. The way people go on, you'd think I call everyone a hater or hate speech. I don't. It's got to be specific. And now they say it. Now, I'm not calling you out, PP, because I was just using it as an example to say, you said one thing. I had to go. You said one thing. It was a slight little thing you said, but it wasn't anything that I'd say, oh, this person is a terrible biggest. But there are people who you do say that's the biggest. End of. Yeah, it is, and it's the person's choice that says, well, I don't want to go on there because this is a place that is unsafe to be if you're a member of the LGBTQI communities. It's not just you, there's other channels I won't go near. I won't venture near because of that. I won't go anywhere near Exposure TV. Now, I get on with Exposure Talk to, but you'll never see me on this channel because of the people that can be on there. And I'm not here to be the sounding board for hate speech and all this business. Because you go on, and this the other thing, it's like a moto. I like going on motos. And, but moto does control it, and he told me he's got rid of a couple of people. But you do having a many time a laugh, and then someone comes and says something really nasty that just takes the whole niceness out of it. And it's like, why do that? Why go out to do that? And if someone's allowing it or saying, oh, now be nice. Look, hate is not a fact of being nice or not nice. It's targeting someone. It's bullying. It's not a matter of being nice. Not being nice is saying, oh my God, I don't like that dress you're wearing. That's not being nice. Call someone and see, these people tend to think that I'm transgender. I'm not. Transgender people take their own life. Just bear that in mind. They take their own life. Imagine if you're getting told, say that I was transgender and I'm getting told about my male bodily parts. What do you think that effect would have on me? That's what you've got to consider. That's how you make the decision. See, I've been in this game for a long time of having to see what pace is and decide what is, what isn't. So, and each comes to their own conclusion. It's just until you look into it, you don't get it. Now, should we get on with the? Should we go to the nice little quiz? We've got some good, lovely. Do you know what? I'm going to start crying. I'm going to start crying. You know, this is an example and proof of how an empathetic human being I am. That I go out of my way to get questions that I know will entertain you all. And it's my love of you all that I go to these great lengths to entertain you. I'm tearing up. I'm tearing up. You know, it reminds me how wonderful I am and caring and loving and all that is special and needed. Right, here we go. So let's get going. What is the capital city of Lebanon? What is the capital city of Lebanon? The capital of Lebanon. That's it. Victoria Lady and Selkie Seal. Beirut. Lebanon, that's got some history to it. Amazing history. Another capital city. What is the capital city of Barbados? I always would love to be able to say, oh, I've got one of my homes there. Barbados. Oh, that's where one of my homes are, darling. Barbados. No, not Trinidad. Not Baghdad, not Syria. Not Kingston. Bridgetown. Julie's has got it. Bridgetown. Well, here's one you'll like. Here we go. This for all you 007 fans. In which band's film? Wait a minute. Which Bond? In which Bond film is the line "a martini shaken, not stirred"? So where does that famous line come from? A martini shaken, not stirred, come from? A martini shaken, not stirred. Not Goldeneye, close. Goldfinger, Jockney's got it. Goldfinger. And do you know the date of it, Jockney? Or anyone know the date of Goldfinger? I was surprised I didn't know it was as old as it is. Anyone know the date of it? I was shocked. I thought it wasn't as old as it is. Oh, wait, well, silly question, isn't it? People are going to Sean Connery, the best 007 ever, as far as I'm concerned. Even though he didn't have the accent, he was the best one. I thought that so could see that would be the 70s. Japanese closer. Eventually, Scott, 1964. I was shocked. I didn't know it was that old. But I don't care what anyone says. Sean Connery was the best 007 ever. Let's see this. Well, in which film is the line, "Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer"? Which film does that appear in? Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Yeah, do you know which one it was? It was The Godfather. Do you know which one it was? That's it, Julie's Godfather too. Which I didn't think that the first one, what was the last one? The last one was the worst one, wasn't it? God, that was cack. The first one was brilliant. Here we are. Which tennis ground for Ilya Sportslovers Which tennis what's wrong with me? Which tennis grand slam is played on a clay surface? Which tennis grand slam is played on a clay surface? No, Wimbledon, that's grass, isn't it, Wimbledon? Lawn, isn't it? Lawn tennis. That's PP. Have you got your PP? Paris. Well, the French Open, but you might as well say Paris. Yeah, the French Open. And it drives them mad because most of the Americans and most of the Europeans train on clay. So that's why Wimbledon is such a big deal. When they come to Wimbledon, it's actually harder for them because, of course, on clay, the ball will go faster, much, much faster. So they have to adapt to the Wimbledon. That's why it's held in great regard, because they see it as such a massive challenge. Where if you're an English tennis player or a British tennis player, it's the other way around. If you've trained it, you struggle when you get to the clay because the ball seems to be zooming much faster. Here we are. How many times has England won the Football World Cup? How many times has England won the Football World Cup? That's it. Yeah, everyone's got that once. And do you know what? Oh, you'll all know what year it is. Go on, what year was it? Only won once. And what year? Famous, isn't it? I think I've got a watch. I'm sure I have, which has got a coin with the year on it. God, that must be worth some money now. That's it, 1966. It will music on for you now, for all you music lovers. Matt and Luke Goss and Craig Logan made up which band? Matt and Luke Goss and Craig Logan made up which band? And they didn't last long, did they? That's it. Everyone's got it. Bros. Didn't last long at all, did they? You thought they would have carried on. Oh, do you remember Five Star? God, they were all Five Star. Bleeding down. Which two country singers got together and sang Islands in the Stream? Islands in the Stream. Oh, Five Star, they were khaki, weren't they? To me, you don't get out into punk and all that. And all these dudes, you used to have about a foot of makeup on the face, isn't it? That's it, Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers. Dolly Parton and Kenny. She must be getting on now. God, that old shit. She must be in her 80s. Oh, I've done that one. Why have I gone back? Let's see, one. Here we go. The Simpsons cartoon was a spin-off from which show, because it was featured in a sketch show and then became a show of its own right. So which The Simpsons started off in which sketch show? Not the Brady Bunch. Not Saturday Night Live. You'll be shocked. I mean, I always knew it. That's it, Donna. Tracy Ullman. If anyone remembers her, Tracy Ullman. Very talented woman. Very talented. And she went to America and she became a huge star in America. Comedian, absolutely huge star. but extremely talented. It was a shame she left the UK, but very, very. That's why she got on in America. I mean, she was just talent. It was oozed out of it. Totally oozed out of it. Here we are. Which film won the Golden Raspberry Award for the worst picture of 2021? Which film won the Golden Raspberry Award for worst picture in 2021? Not Cats. Oh, that I haven't seen Cats. I saw bits of it and it looked awful. Wasn't Cats. Not La La Land. Actually, I didn't even know this film existed. Give you the clue, shall I? Give you a little clue. It's most of that's why it's because no one knows what it is. Give you a little clue. I want to be known as the Queen of Hearts. There's your clue. I want to be known as the Queen of Hearts. Shall I get Diana? Yeah, Diana the musical. I've never seen it. Apparently, there was a film Diana the musical. Oh God! I would have loved to see how they would have scripted the end of that as a musical number. But yeah, Diana the musical. I've seen some turkeys in my time, though. I definitely knew that existed. But yeah, that Cats, didn't that look absolutely dire? It was too creepy looking. But the play was stupid. You should always say that the musical was stupid. It was at the end, and I could never work out. When I first went to it, was like, what's this about? I didn't know whether they were going to they want to die in it. I thought, why did they want to die in all this? Oh, weird, strange. Very, very strange. So I wouldn't have gone and seen anyway, because Cats, I don't like the storyline. I think it's a stupid storyline. But yeah, they made it way, way, way too sinister. And the funny bits weren't funny because you were distracted. And those mice things did me head in because they looked like babies, and that was really creepy. They had like baby faces, and that was really creeping out there. Here we go. What did Bridget Jones call her baby in the third film? So what did Bridget Jones call her baby in the third film? Talk about films in a minute once I've done this. I love talking about films. Not Arthur. You should get this, Johnny. The first one was brilliant, wasn't it, Jules? It was funny. That's it, Cindy William. Golden William. The first one was really, really good, but it's one of those things, it doesn't once you've got the laughs from the first one, unless the second one has to be really, really, really good, doesn't it? It hardly ever is. I don't know. I'm trying to think if I've seen anything where the follow-up was equal to or better. I can name the worst follow-up sequel to any film, and that definitely, I think most people agree, The Heretic, The Exorcist 2, that was just, oh, good God. That was tragedy. Tragic, that. Oh. It's like, how'd you go from The Exorcist to that pile of cack? But going to Linda Blair, because she said in an interview, didn't she? She said, what was in the script and offered out to us, she said, it wasn't what actually came out at the end of the day. And she said she knew something was going wrong when she was asked to do a skating dance routine. She said, what? Roller skating. She said, roller skating. She said, Regan, roller skating. And she said, she more or less knew that, oh, this isn't going away. But she said, what they were offered wasn't what you saw on the screen at the end. There was actually a rise in the theatre, wasn't it? They chased the producers out when they had their premiere, ran the producer out of the cinema. But something like The Exorcist, you're not going to be able to do a follow-up that matches it. You're just not. And God help them if they tried to do a remake of it. They were talking about that, weren't they? You can't remake that film. Here we are. For all you Bible lovers, what is the only domesticated animal not mentioned in the Bible? There's one domesticated animal which we love and know that is not mentioned in the Bible. Oh, Grease 1. The first Grease was one of my, but it's my favourite musical that I love. No, not a dog. That's it, Donna. Cat, Lucius, cat. The cat isn't mentioned for some reason. They say it was Egyptian. You'd have cats all over it. They loved the kitties, didn't they? Hey, well, what colour is lobster's blood? So if you were to cut a lobster open, what would it bleed? What colour blood would it bleed? Yeah, domestic cats. They have lines, but it's a domestic cat. It never mentions. That's it, blue. Blue blood. Where was Napoleon Bonaparte born? Where was Napoleon Bonaparte born? The man who tried to make the world French. No, it's not actually France. It's a part. It's under French jurisdiction. It's a French island, you might say, yeah. French island. Corsica, that's it, Cindy, Corsica. Now this one, Simon, you know this. What colour are the black boxes on airplanes? What colour are the black boxes on airplanes? The one that will that they look for to make sure they can find out how the crash happened. Not red. Orange, that's it, Donna. Orange. And it makes sense because with the black it would be difficult to find. Orange will stand out against most backgrounds, won't it? Oh, this is a funny one. This is a naughty one. It's true. What town in Canada causes people to blush or crease up in hysterical laughter when they hear its name? What town in Canada causes people to blush or crease up laughing? Not Toronto, not Ontario. No, it's a. How can I put it? Prolapse there. Prolapse would find it. Would find it titillating. I'm not saying the first part of that name, but prolapse would. If you look at prolapse's name, they'd find it. They'd find it useful. Here I'll give it to. It's actually Dildo. There's actually a town called Dildo. Dildo. Imagine being from there. Oh, good God. That's not a good one, is it? But yeah, Oh, talking films, yeah, films. So you know this orange and red narrative? It's a sort of like after the red's been mixed with yellow. It's after the red's been mixed with yellow, is that when it goes orange? Right then, films, yeah, that's got me thinking. So if anyone said to me, I'd say, oh, let's see, what's my favorite? What's people's favorite film? If you can pick one film, I'd say my favorite all time has to be Gone with the Wind because it's just the perfect. Everything about it is perfect. I think with that, they certainly perfected the art of a film. Oh, it's nice and cool now. So, Dr. Zhivago, I found that a bit of a yawn myself. God, I shouldn't say that, should I? It was a bit of a. Trainspot was good. Beach Sunrise. Highlander, I've never seen Highlander. Angela's Ashes, I haven't seen that. I've heard about it though. Interview with the Wild Vampire, I was 2 hours on that. Brief Encounter now. Oh, the first one. Do you know what, Super Mario said something there? That I could never see what was so wonderful about it. And the way they talk it, the child. Ew, mummy. It was so of the time, wasn't it? Ew, mummy. Ew. Just too portional, isn't she's on the train? She, yeah, darling. It's like, oh, this is really an arsake of this one. It's like Love Story later. It's like, all the fuss over Love Story. It's like, this is boring. I know it's supposed to be absolutely gutted because of what she's dying of, but it's so bleeding boring at the end of the day. Oh, Streetcar Called Desire. Yeah, that was good. That's a brilliant one. Streetcar Called Desire. The Shining. Oh, that's one of my favourites as well. It's the atmosphere in The Shining, isn't it? Yeah, The Shining. I think that's one you want. That's one you don't want to see in the cinema. Even you just want to lay back on a couch on your own and watch it, don't you? Because it's also lulls you into a strange, relaxed state. That film. But we're saying one of the biggest frights, or the biggest fright in any film, is a Legion, The Exorcist 3. The film itself isn't all that. I didn't enjoy the film itself. I thought some of it was stupid, or a lot of it was stupid. But there's a scene with a nurse when she's walking through the corridors, and do you know what? They just timed it so perfectly. You'll actually see videos discussing how perfectly it was done. Because when the shot comes, literally you go through the ceiling. I nearly went through the ceiling in the cinema because it lulls you into a sense of you're thinking, oh, this is boring because it's going on and you're watching it. It's almost like SMSR or whatever it is, that you relax and watching it because it's a boring scene. Then this shock happens and you think, oh, and it fools you into thinking that's it. That's the shock. So you get back to watching it, but that's not the shock. When the shock comes and you don't know about it, you go right through the bleeding ceiling, you do. But they did that absolutely perfectly. And that one. Maybe let's see what we've got here. Oh, Mystery was good. Kathy Bates was wonderful. Stephen King he is absolutely brilliant. And someone told me off because I more or less said, about Edgar Allan Poe, and I said, but Stephen King, which Edgar Allan Poe was good, he was creepy or whatever, but he doesn't produce a big tone like Stephen King does. And they said something to me and I said, yeah, but said Edgar Allan Poe didn't have the millions of pounds like Stephen King does, did he? But Edgar Allan Poe was more or less the first one to go into really disturbing stories. Very disturbing. Yeah, my Vico, I've seen that for years. The Birdman. Has anyone ever seen Are You Tea Gone Sweetheart? Has anyone ever seen The Innocents? Have you ever seen The Innocents? It's based on the Turn of the Screw. Oh, Johnny, I've seen The House of Wax in 3D. Years ago, they re-released it in 3D again. It was brilliant in 3D. The Innocents, if you ever get to see that, that's a good one. Where the 60s, that was Deborah Carr. And the question is whether the children are actually possessed or not. And I read the book, and the book, you don't know what to say. In the book, you're thinking, is this governess? Because she's a governess. And it looks more like the governess is just delusional and she's imagining all this. And you don't really know what happens to the child, the little boy at the end. The book's not clear. Where the film, The Innocents, takes all that and it makes it more that it is a haunting, but people think she's going to a lolly. But at the end, what happens to the little boy is more definite in the film, and it's actually very creepy at the end. Very, very creepy. So The Innocents, it should be on YouTube. I'm sure I've seen it on there. Another one, Japanese come up with some good ones. Ran, have you ever seen Ran? That's a good one. The Human Centipede, I've heard about it, I've never seen it. It's supposed to be really gory, isn't it? That's supposed to be a very gory one, isn't it? As I've got older, I'm not into horrors as much as I used to be. I used to love the horrors. But they're too gory now. You get too much of the blood and guts, which I don't like. In other words, they're too good at it now. Making films now, they're way, way, way too good at it. Hiya, DJ Aki. The first one, Texas Chainsaw, that was one I didn't find scary. Those was good, but I didn't find it scary. Actually, I'm going to tell you something here which you'll think is horrendous, Johnny. You know the end scene? I found that so funny. You know where she's, I can't help it, you know where she's in the chair? And she's screaming, they're all going, yee, screaming back at her and cheering her. I can't help laughing at that. I know it's supposed to be a horrible scene, but to me it's funny the way they're laughing at her and screaming at her. And when they've got her in the car, he gets her in the van, doesn't he? And he's poking her with the stick. It's like, oh God. And I'm thinking I shouldn't be laughing at this, but it's just funny the way they do it. Oh, the original Evil Dead, God, that was wait, that was even for the time that looked really copy and paste. That I don't know how that ever got so famous. That one. So there's lots of Godzilla. Oh wait a minute, what am I looking at? I was thinking then you were saying Donna saying Godzilla is an amazing book. I thought, oh, Hostel, that's it. This is what I mean. That's show that I didn't like because they're too real. Films like that are too real. See, when you go back to my day when I was a teenager going to see horror films, you had things like Friday the 13th, which was so badly acted that you knew you weren't watching real life, even though it was a huge success and it was for its time. But things like Hostel are too real. I don't know whether you think that they are. When they do films now and they get them right, they're too real. And that's what's really bleeding scary about them. So I don't like watching them. So was good. The first one was very, very good. The first Saw. But after that again, they go too yucky, don't they? And it's like, no, I don't like it when they go like that. The worst horror ever, one of the worst, what I've said about the Heretic, but one that got me and I thought, you're kidding me. This is going to be a joke, or I'm dreaming this. I've got in trachoma and I'm dreaming all this. The Blair Witch Project, or Project, however you want to pronounce it. What a pile of pants was that? And the big fuss about it, running through, looking at trees, screaming. It was rubbish. Absolutely terrible film. That how the hell that ever got the reputation it did, I don't know. Oh, there's a tree. Ah! No, I like the first one, but the other side. What was the one I saw? She had a key in her eye or something like that, and I thought, oh no, I'm not even watching it. I switched it right off. I thought, I'm not watching it. Some of the good ones which are surprised. No, when they remake them now, like when they remade Friday 13th, which was good Friday 13th, even though it was, overacting, brilliant overacting. But when they remake them, they make them more intelligent now. And I've always been impressed by that. It's like you're watching a different film, even though it's the same story. It's like you're watching. They did the same with the Chainsaw Massacre. They don't do an exact remake. They add to the story and actually make the stories more believable. And one they really improved. My God, because the original one was tat. Was a what was it? Valentine. My bloody was it My Bloody Valentine? Which one? I'm trying to think now. I might get this wrong. It's beside the My Bloody Valentine or which one was it? Can't remember the exact. But they made. I went to see it years ago when it first came out. It was cack. It really was a lot of rubbish. And then they remade it, and the remake was much, much, much better. It just made more sense. It was gorier because they have the technology, but it just made more sense. It was in 3D as well. When you see Johnny, that ending in Friday 13th was ruined for me because someone bleeding was talked about and I heard them mentioning it, that end bit. But Friday 13th, the third one in 3D, that had the best titles ever in 3D I've ever seen. The titles in that come right as the screen in the cinema. Everyone was whooping in the cinema. Because when it starts off, it's not in 3D the first few minutes. Then they tell you to put your glasses on. Put your glasses on and you see the head and the writing come out. Well, that writing came right up to your face. It was amazing. I've never seen titles so brilliant as in that film. See, sometimes they do the modern ones. The Life of Brian, that's brilliant. Oh, I love the old Donna. I love the old ones. I love the old Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein. Oh, all the old ones I love. They have the atmosphere, the old ones. See, they couldn't rely on special effects, could they? Yeah, I do like the old horrors, lovely. PP fan. Oh, Freaks, Tom Browner. Well, that wasn't a horror. This is what people say, don't they? It was described as being a horror, but when you're actually watching it, it's not. It's very, very sympathetic to the quotation marks freaks in the film. But there's bits of it missing. Apparently, the end was much, much more disturbing, but they cut bits out of it and they lost it. They don't know where the hell it's gone. But yeah, that is, I mean, that's a classic now. Held up as a classic. But that's it. Years ago, see, that's labelled a horror when it actually wasn't a horror. And another one that was labelled a horror, which was actually a comedy, was The Bride of Frankenstein. That's meant to be a black comedy, that, not a horror film. The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I didn't think that was scary, but the one, oh, what was his name? Oh God, why can't? Because he's one of the greatest English actors ever. And his wife was the Bride of Frankenstein, Elsa. Oh, I can't remember his name. Let me get it. My brain's gone terrible. I used to be able to read these names off. Charles Lawton. Why I couldn't remember his name, I don't know. Charles Lawton, one of the greatest British actors ever. And he, not that, only that, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, he was brilliant in. If you ever see Jamaica Inn, where he's in Jamaica Inn, my God, he's so creepy in that. So creepy, it's unbelievable. Amazing actor. The thing, the Elfman, yeah, that was good. I remember when we went to see that when it was first out, they wouldn't show what he looked like in the trailer, so you had to wait to go and see it in the cinema before you actually saw what he looked like in the film. And let's see, just reading the comments. Like this. Oh, wait a minute, I wanted to tell you all about. There you go. Let's see. Just copy this, put it up on the screen. See if I can get this done now. Copy. Going to put a banner up on the screen now about something that's coming up on Thursday at 9:30. There we are. I Am Snow Queen, a documentary about Michelle Marie Delaney. Now, Marie Delaney, I could go into big explanation about it, but there's a documentary that's been done about her. And a fascinating character. Why I'm putting it on, she's going to actually be in the live chat. So we're lucky. She's going to be in the live chat at 9:30 for any questions anyone wants to ask her. And it reminded me of the old 1980s the odd little documentaries she used to get about. Really, they did one about Kira Nijinsky, who I was lucky enough to have worked with when I was a dancer for a short while. And they did one about a very extravagant person. And there was Grey's Gardens as well. That was another one at the time. And it just reminded me of them. And I thought, oh, I'll have to put this documentary on. So I'm not going to tell you anything about it. You just watch it. It's just that she's a very interesting individual. Very, very interesting individual. And so she's going to be in the live chat answering questions. But definitely worth. Actually, I'll get the link to her channel as well. Eccentric is the word, isn't it? That's the right word. Very eccentric. Now I'm going to put this as the link to a channel. She wanted me to interview her after the documentary, but the only problem is that she has hearing problems and she's registered blind as well, so it's difficult, but she'll be able to type in the comments if anyone wants to ask her. Never heard of them, Prolapse. Oh, Alfred Hitchcock did some amazing ones. I mean, of course, Psycho is the best one he ever did, but another one is Frenzy. That was another one. Frenzy was very deep, wasn't it? Well, not deep, very disturbing. But Psycho was supposed to be a film. Something went wrong. Oh, it's a television film it was supposed to be, and they knew it wouldn't work. And that caused they broke all the ground, didn't they? Because the main character dies at the beginning of the film, basically, which was unheard of back then. And he just did it brilliantly. The Birds, that was it was all right. It was okay. The Birds, but he didn't like the actress, did he? What was her name? God, my brain's terrible now. All these names I used to be able to read off the top of my head. She's got a weird name, hasn't she? Tippi Hedren. Tippi Hedren. And she went through hell because of it. She actually got what we'd call now PTSD because of the end scene. Because she said for 3 days they were throwing birds at her, and all. She said it was horrific. She said they were real birds. They were chucking at her for the majority of it. Some for other films I can talk about. Oh, talking about PTSD. What about Shelley Duvall and The Shining? They reckon that sent her right over the edge, didn't it? The Shining, filming that. The way she was treated in it. She was treated horrific. And that scene going up the stairs where she's got the bat, got the baseball bat, she's trying to ace him away, get him away from her. Apparently they did that scene, it was something ridiculous, like 150 times. They made her film it. Must have been but they reckon that's what. Oh god, no, Shelley Duvall, she's She's seriously got mental health issues now. Seriously got mental health issues, but they reckon it relates back to that because she was literally made to be a nervous wreck filming it because it was so demanding, all the demands put on. But that's severe. Oh, Brooke Shields. Well, this would Pretty Baby be allowed today? I don't think you'd be able to film that now. Pretty Baby. And she's also in the Blue Lagoon. I mean, the Blue Lagoon wasn't so bad, and it was very good. The Blue Lagoon, extremely good. But Pretty Baby, I very much doubt that would be allowed nowadays. They wouldn't. Well, they wouldn't film The Exorcist nowadays. Certain scenes in The Exorcist they wouldn't be allowed to film now. So people say actually it was stricter years ago. Not always. It wasn't. There's things that they used to film years ago that you couldn't get now. But yeah, she was very good. I mean, people forget she was a major star. Absolutely major star. Brooke Shields at the time. She was one of the, I think she was the biggest paid star at the time. And she was only a teenager. But as she said, being pretty, which you all will find out, people soon get bored of you until the next pretty face comes along. And she just couldn't get the parts. Don't Look Back. Oh, now there's a good one. Now, Don't Look Back. That's set in Venice, isn't it? That is a good one. And I've actually met Donald Sutherland because I won't go on again because people go, oh, you're not going on about that bleeding Casanova scene parts with being filmed. But he was in, I met him and when I went with Papa, when he was dragging me along on one of his jobs for 2 or 3 days. And so Donald Sutherland looking very, to me, exciting. Yeah, the makeup on him, continually getting makeup put on. And this amazing wig. People wonder why I grew up looking all strange makeup. But Don't Look Back, that was very good. The thing at the end, the midget or dwarf, whatever you want to call it. I was like, good God. Oh, we're getting on, aren't we? We're here now. I haven't seen American History, but I want to see it. I definitely want to see it. It looks really, really good. Sure, so push. Anyway, McDonald's, we've been on for over an hour. So what we'll do now is we'll wind up. Now, tomorrow, of course, is Tuesday, isn't it? Wednesday. Thursday is I'm Snow Queen, the documentary about Michelle Marie Delaney. So that will be on. I'll be in the live chat as well because we put on as a premiere, but you'll find her absolutely fascinating. And she's just one of those people that you have to watch. So what I'll do, my darlings, is I'll wind down and say thank you to everyone in the chat. All my Tegan, Julie, Cindy, Steve, May, Jockney Sparrow, Mrs. Prolapse, Gorillas. I'm going to miss someone out. They're going to be annoyed with me, aren't you? PP, Selkie, Rob. Just make sure I don't miss anyone out. Narrative. That's it, isn't it? Yep, that's it. So anyway, on Thursday, June 9:30 Thursday, and I'll be in the chat, but it will be for Michelle to talk to you all in the chat mainly, and very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. She loves being asked questions. I don't know what she'll love every minute of it. So I'll thank you to Matt Taylor, who was the person who actually brought it to my attention. I wouldn't have known only for Matt Taylor bringing it to my attention. So I'll see you all again on Thursday, my lovelies. Bye bye for now.